family and friends. I'm going to say that once again because it looks like I am buffering still on the other social media frontier. Frontier, yes. Hello, family and friends. It's been a while. I took a moment to recharge, reset, and during that time, I also did not have access to the internet on a regular basis, so that was quite helpful for me. It is 4:30 in the real time. When you watch this, it may be different than 4:30. Hopefully, you'll get to check this out at another time, and at that time, it is still wonderful. We've had intermittent skies today where there's been big fluffy clouds, there's been grayness, been beautiful sun, there's been blue sky. It's been a full day. And I pose to you the big question. How you doing? How you doing? We are in a state right now. We are going through some turmoil. We are dealing with life. Uh, in our dealing with life, we're dealing with the ups, we're dealing with the downs, we're dealing with the in betweens. There is a lot going on, a lot on the table. We are at a very full buffet. And I will say that a lot of what's out there on the buffet, I don't want to eat. I don't want to partake in. There is some nourishing stuff. And as I come back to you and I step into this realm again, I want to offer to you some healthy alternatives, some resources that are beneficial to your well being, that are maybe guidelines and guidance for you to step forward into creating the healthy new world that we need and the healthy way that we interact and deal with each other and how we step with respect and trust and love. And without building walls and fences, creating safe working boundaries, creating safe working zones for all, not just for self, but for all. As we practice that with self, it will help others practice for their selves. And I introduce to some of you and I reintroduce to others that we're in a point in time where we have choices, and the choices, we have two very strong choices. I love giving two choices, a healthy or unhealthy. And in this choice, the choices that we have the choice to conform to what is or transform into what we need. And right now, I would say we can conform with what is and remain in an unhealthy way, or we can transform into what we need and build a healthy way for ourselves and a way for our community and a way for our nation to move forward. And forward, we're going to get there anyway. Time does not stop. Time waits for no one. We are going to get there. How we get there is really important. How we get there is really important. We'll say it one more time. How we get there is really important. Are we going to get there kicking and screaming and fighting? Or are we going to get there caring for each other, carrying some, helping others, inspiring others, or shoving others? And that choice is up to each one of us individually. Each one of us of how we deal with our lives. Are we going to conform or are we going to transform? And it's the funny thing about that is thinking about transformation is so many people say, oh, I don't need to change. And really, we all need to change. We all need to change. We're not the babies that we were born as. We are not the children that we once were. We are not the adolescents that we once were. We're not the young 20 somethings for some of us that we once were. And we won't, wherever we are, we're not going to stay there. When I get to be 80, I want the vitality that I have now. and I want to transform the wisdom that I am to gain into something that's useful in my 80s. When I get to my 90s, I want to have transformed from who I am now to who I am then, with wisdom, with love, with trust, with respect, with honor. When I get to my hundreds, I want to look back and realize all those transformations I have made to be the person who I am at 100 and 105 and 110 and 120. So, transformation. Transformation is necessary. Conforming is stasis. Conforming, even though we are fitting into that mold, we need to break molds. There are so many things. I'm just getting back and just scanning the social media channels in the last 24 hours because that's when the internet got hooked up for me, and seeing the questions out there. Oh, do we throw away the history that we have? Do we there are so many things that we need to rethink, we need to step into, we need to deal with. Yes, it's going to be difficult. We have honored George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers for so long. We have put them on pedestals, and yet there is a different history that existed and needs to be presented. Wait, yes, they owned people. They held slaves. They bought and sold. They trafficked in humans. Is that honorable? In no way, shape, or form is that honorable. Let's start telling the story. Let's rewrite the narrative as it should. No, let's not should on ourselves right now. Let's rewrite the narrative as it actually happened. Let's start to write the narrative of what wasn't passed forward. We are beginning with this, and we can do better. Do we erase? Hello, nephew Keenan. Do we erase that? No, we're not asking to erase it, but we do not honor that. There is no honor in that. And you may say that was what was standard practice at the time. Well, I want to speak to the enslaved person about the standard practice. Not okay. Not okay. And the transformation of the enslaved to free. Let's start talking about that. We have dealt with a system that has been broken. And I've said this before, we have dealt with this system that's been broken for far too long. And yes, that sounds almost, it's crazy to say, let's create a new system that is honoring, that is valuing, that is leveling the playing field for all. All. In doing so, yes, it will be uncomfortable for the folks who have ridden higher on the pedestal for too long. It will be uncomfortable for the folks who have worked their butts off way down low to be spoken with dignity, to be allowed into spaces that they had to fight to get into. That's uncomfortable. Let me tell you, it's going to be uncomfortable. And growth is also uncomfortable. If you're a parent and you've ever had to rub your children's legs as they got growing pains, that's uncomfortable. Let us grow. Let us deal with the pains of growing and transform into what we need to be. And that's a healthy, loving, caring community. That's healthy, loving, caring individuals that make up that larger community. And that larger community makes up a larger nation. And that larger nation makes up the world. And when in stepping back here, I won't be coming out the same as I was day in and day out because I have other things that I need to do on a daily basis. I will step in here as frequently as I can, just to share this philosophy with the world. It's time. I have hidden for far too long. I have allowed myself to diminish myself for far too long. And I have a voice, I have a mind, and I have a calling. And it's time to stop denying that. It's time to allow that. And I did that for almost 2 months on a daily basis, which I am shocked that I actually did and accomplished. And I'm glad that I had folks who were listening. And I hope to continue to have folks who are listening when I step out and I need to and I speak and I share. Uh, and this is going to be a brief one as I step back into this. And what I want to do, first of all, so in dealing with some of this discomfort, I'm going to just use a divine selection from apologies that never came. In and this, so when I speak of this right now, the search for the apologies that never came, as we deal with the discomfort of handling, acknowledging, working towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we are facing the challenges of racism and bigotry and ignorance. There are a lot of apologies that never came, that probably will not come because they're difficult to speak out. And so divine selection has chosen the poem Unfair. Unfair. You wrestle with the idea that all your labor will become the harvest for someone else. Rightfully so. How do you labor hours in a garden only to be told that the home it added life to will no longer be yours? How do you put all your eggs in a basket only to be told that this basket belongs to someone else? And the broken eggs are the only things that are yours to keep. It is a heavy burden to prepare yourself for forever with someone who is only here for now. It is being robbed for what you fought to be yours. Unfortunately, you can't fight in the ring alone. Unfair. This reminds me that as a child, I often cried, "That's unfair. That's unfair." And the most common response I got from my mother was, "Life isn't fair." That was it. Life isn't fair. There was no more. It wasn't get used to it. It's just that life isn't fair. And that spoke volumes. Life isn't fair. Life needs to be healthy. If life isn't healthy, what is it? It's dis-ease. It's death in stasis. Life needs to be healthy. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. That being said, make your life healthy. Emotionally, spiritually, physically. And make it possible for others to do the same. And I will also use a selection from A Poem a Day, Volume 2, Divinely Selected. Like the water in the stream, the words flow, not always understandable, often wrapped in multiple meanings, cascading into the world, resonating forever. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. And I hope that you are finding recharge. I hope that you are finding rest. I hope that you are finding peace and balance. And I hope that if you are troubled and you have questions, that you're getting answers and you're finding solutions. And I hope that this may have helped you along your way. Conform or transform. If we could take a moment right now, take your hands, rub them together. Just rub them together smoothly, as if you're trying to just roll together any energy that is there on all parts in between your fingers. Just rub them together for just a moment. And then let them rest. You'll feel that they're trying to find a way of connecting, like two magnets working together in opposite polarities, trying to bring each other closer together. For others, you may find that your hands are so energized that they're trying to find a space. Just take a moment and breathe into that. Breathe in and let it flow down your arms, back out through your hands, connecting the loop. And breathe out. Feel the air come between that space in the hands, down, back up through the arms, and out through the mouth. And breathe in, send energy down into the lungs, out the arms, around, and connecting that loop and out. And then breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. If you find, so I'm sorry for this and later. So had you take your hands. If you have no hands, take one hand. If you have one hand, rub against your chest. If you have none, then just go to the breathing exercise and breathe in through the mouth and let the energy go out through your extremities. And as you breathe back, as you exhale, let the air come in, back out, and through from the extremities. So that's modifying for wherever you are. If you have no use of your hands or your arms, continue to breathe into your extremities, whatever that is, and allow that sensation to be. And breathe. So you're breathing through your extremities, both in and out, as if your extremities were your gills, and they're filtering and they're flowing. And if you choose, you may breathe through your lower extremities as well. With each of your breaths, allow it to be infused with love. Not your love, divine love. Let the divine love that is in the atmosphere, that is all around us at all times, be mixed in with the air that you breathe, allowing some of the particles to trap in your body, in your soul, in your lungs, in your mouth, in your gums, in your nose, in your nostril hairs. Even if you only have a moment, a minute of time, 30 seconds of time, and you can take a couple of breaths. With each breath that you breathe in love, breathe out love. Breathe in love, breathe out love. If you find that your mind is spinning and spiraling and working on ideas and trying to solve questions that there are no answers for, breathe in love, breathe out love. Allow there to be a moment where there isn't an answer, where there may not be an answer. Allow there to be space in that point in time. Allow yourself to be heavy as you need, or to be light as you need. Allow yourself to float if necessary. Allow yourself to sink. Notice that I'm working on both extremes. I want to make sure that you realize you can't do it wrong. It's either healthy or it's unhealthy. And this is healthy. Acknowledging what you need is healthy. Allow yourself that. Cleo, thank you for being here. And I just look out the window and I'm about to be joined by a guest, actually not a guest, as a coworker, as we prepare for our summer. Thank you once again for being here. Remember to continue to stay safe, stay sane, be well, and move forward with passion and purpose. And know that you are enough. Go ahead and say it with me. I am enough. Yes, you are. You are enough. Thank you for joining me here today, and have a great day.